Hello, welcome to the Devlin Bishop Show. It is that time of week where we get together and talk some stuff. And as you can see by the thumbnail, we are talking about very important things today. But before we get to that, here is my co host, Corda. How are you today?
Doing good. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good.
Good.
Yeah, it's just been a regular week, and I got some stuff coming up that I'm a little worried about. So hopefully tonight will take my mind off, and we will be talking about one of our favorite topics. Some of you are probably shocked that we're actually talking about this. Yes, according to the thumbnails, we're looking at McDonald's. You did not read that wrong. And we're looking at the good, the bad, and the ugly. And I don't know how ugly we're going to get, but we are going to talk a little bit about everything. Now, people are thinking, what triggered this? Well, I have grown up with McDonald's and I am a huge fan. Now, I've cut down my McDonald's eating consumption. I'm happy to say I've lost a little weight. But when I have a cheat day, McDonald's is one of my cheats. It might also be pizza or Kentucky Fried Chicken, but McDonald's tends to be it. And you were a fan of McDonald's too. You grew up with it.
Oh yeah, we didn't have it often when I was a kid, but we certainly do now. Not
Yeah, and we don't. Yeah, yeah, and as a kid, we didn't have it. I was still a chubby kid, so I can't blame it on McDonald's. My family, we scrape by sometimes, and we would have maybe once a month a big dinner, and McDonald's would be one of them, or Chinese food, or Kentucky Fried Chicken, or pizza. Because when I grew up in the '70s and '80s, pizza was actually a luxury item.
mm,
That was before, the late '80s, early '90s, where it seemed like every corner had a two-for-one pizza deal. No, before it was like really fancy and stuff like that. So, yeah, it was pretty exciting to get those special days and stuff. But the thing that really triggered this was, I grew up in the '70s and I used to love the McDonald's commercials with Ronald McDonald and all his friends from McDonald's Land, I think it
I
was.
think
I
it
think
was
that's all it was.
McDonald's.
Yeah. And it was just fun little commercials that you can see a lot of on YouTube, where Ronald would just get into goofy zaniness and they'd all wind up getting obese at McDonald's at the end of it. No matter what happened, they'd always celebrate by let's shoving fast food in our face. And that's why Ronald McDonald was hired, because they really wanted somebody to promote to kids. Um, and Ronald McDonald became huge, absolutely huge. And so did his friends, although his friends didn't last as long as he did. Um, but at one time, they say in a survey, Ronald McDonald was only number two to number one Santa Claus as recognizable figures in the world.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's pretty.
So Ronald has had an up and down history, and we'll talk a little bit about that. We're going to talk a little bit of everything McDonald's foods. We're going to talk about, you know, some fun stuff to start things off. Now, when you go to McDonald's, what is your go to meal?
Usually a Big Mac. Yeah,
And do you get a combo?
sometimes, but I also like the Caesar salad that they have now. So
Oh, okay.
sometimes I get that instead of the fries. But
That's nice.
yeah,
Well, I usually always get the fries. I've actually been getting good. I'm avoiding getting combos, and I
that's
usually just get my favorite sandwich. Now, it's funny because I'm such a McDonald's fan, but I'm not actually a big burger fan. I never have been. I will eat a burger if I have to, but if there's other options, I'll go for it. And ever since I was a kid, I'm a huge fan of fillet of fish. And there's lots of people now, right now, yakking into their waste paper baskets near their computer thinking, oh my God, because I know it's not loved, but it has to be because they still sell it.
yeah. Must be someone out there who likes it. Other
Right, and I love it. And every once in a while, I will deviate and go to get some chicken McNuggets. God only knows what they're made of. I've heard horror stories, but it doesn't stop me at all.
You don't need to think about that sort of thing.
Right, and sometimes in the mornings I enjoy an egg McMuffin,
Yeah.
and yeah, so it's funny how I love McDonald's, but burgers aren't my favorite. But that's okay.
Well, yeah. That's the thing. They have something for everybody. Yeah.
Yes, they have something for everyone. In fact, um, no, we'll stay with the fun stuff first, and then we'll get to
That sounds
the
alarming.
questionable stuff. So the real reason this triggered this, and I should mention that you actually had McDonald's earlier today
I
in
did, yes.
preparation for this.
Yes, in preparation.
There you go.
I had a Big
Eh,
Mac combo. There we go.
there you have Big Mac combo.
Yep.
So anyhow, I collect pop vinyls. You can probably see in the back. I have quite a few. Now I don't collect every one, but I collect my favorites. So a couple of months ago, I noticed that they were going to release McDonald's oriented ones, and I needed to have them. And these things were so hard to get. So at Christmas, I got two of them,
Mhm.
and I was very happy when Mike surprised me with them. And then I noticed that we could get some of the other ones online, Amazon. And I ordered them and decided to treat myself because I don't use Amazon that often. And they came, and I fell instantly in love with these characters. And so I'm going to show you these characters, and let's see if this brings back nostalgia or at least makes you want to run out and grab a Big Mac or something. So we'll start with this character here. Um, some of you younger people might not remember these. These were the characters in McDonald Land, and some of these got fired in the 80s, I think.
I think so.
Yeah, they scrapped McDonald Land. There was a big to do about it being a little too close to HR Puffin stuff. And
Yeah,
when I say a little too close, I mean
I did.
they actually asked the puppeteers of HR Puffin stuff, Sid and Marty Krofft, if they could create McDonald's characters for them. But they were so busy with HR Puffin stuff that 6 months later they came out with these. And if you watch the commercials, HR Puffin stuff and Sid and Marty Krofft said, "Yeah, we're suing your asses." And I don't know what came of that, but yeah, it was a little too close. So anyhow, this is Big Mac. He was the police officer.
Oh yes, yeah,
Good look at him, really fun guy there. And yeah, and he of course represented the Big Mac.
yes.
And yeah, so he is definitely one of my faves. I'm going from order of my favorites, although it's very hard to say. I thought this would be higher up on my list, but I don't know. There's something weird about him. But this guy actually lasted a little longer. I recently found out they even made a hunky version of him
Really?
a little later because he's had some creepy things. Go check out some of his commercials. But yeah, they actually have a hunky version that they tried. So this is Cheeseburglar. No, Hamburglar. I don't know. I guess if you want cheese on it, that's a thing for you. And he, of course, used to be the criminal that Big Mac would chase because, McDonald Land only had like a handful of characters, but they still needed a bad seed. This would be him. And yeah, he'd be stealing everybody's food from it because they wouldn't give him any of it or something like that. And yeah, definitely after this, if you're interested, go check out. I don't know if you'll get it through Hunky Hamburglar, but
I'm
and
worried about what I would get through that.
right, and he represented the little hamburger that I guess you get for kids that couldn't handle the Big Mac, and so I don't know what's the little hamburger. It's just hamburger and a pickle or something like that, and it looks like a bun that's been squished because they want you to get the
Yeah,
sesame seed bun from the Big Mac.
it's like a hockey puck, basically. Yeah.
Right. So my next character I'm showing you here is Merrimack Cheese. He of course represents the cheeseburger, and yeah, he looks a little similar to Big Mac, but he's royalty. I'll just realized he had glasses in the back. That's pretty kind of cool. Um, and I always kind of liked his sash. More mayors should wear sashes.
They should.
And of course, that's an M for mayor. Okay, it's actually McDonald's.
Well, he's
So
McDonald's.
it's funny that he's the mayor, but basically Ronald McDonald's in charge of his ass. But
Yeah,
he's still the represented mayor, so
makes
he's
the mayor
probably
do all the
just,
work, probably.
yeah, he's probably just like a figurehead
Yeah.
in McDonald land. Now there are other characters. I just didn't get all of them. These are the ones I wanted to get. Some of those weird ones like the McNuggets or Birdie or Early Bird. I'm not sure I'm going to get them, but we'll never know. You never know. You never know with me. Anyhow, this guy's very popular. This is Grimace, and
Yeah,
of course he represented Shakes from what I believe.
yes.
And Grimace is such a happy face on this one. I don't know exactly what Grimace was. I always thought it was weird that his name was Grimace, which isn't that like
A
a
friend. Yeah.
like a frown?
Yeah, Grimace is
Yeah.
brown. Yeah.
I'm gonna guess, and I'm just going on a guess here that maybe he was grimacing when he came, and then he'd have a shake
Oh,
and
maybe.
become obese, and then he was happy.
Maybe.
Yes.
We'll go with that.
So yeah, so that's Grimace, and of course the man of the hour, and I really like him. And when I got these in the mail, boy, I was like a great, cute little fat kid again. Not that I've lost that much weight or anything, but this just made me just smile so hard. Of course, Ronald McDonald,
Yay.
and he is the star of McDonald's. He's still around, even though they tried to force him to retire uh, in 2011. He's not seen quite as often, but he is still the spokesperson. He shows up still to meet people at McDonald's. Well, maybe not during the pandemic,
Well, no.
but this clown is still absolutely, yeah, he's still well known. Most people still know him. One of the few clowns that aren't really creepy, unless you were watching some of the Japanese commercials. Yeah,
Some
you
of
got
those.
a lot to watch. You're going to be hearing a lot today, and you're going to have a lot to watch. So there they are, my McDonald's characters that not only makes me smile when I see them, makes me hungry a little bit, making me. Is it cheat day today? And if not, it just made me feel like talking about McDonald's.
It works.
And so I'm not going to go too much in the history. There's been a lot of information online and movies, but basically a couple of brothers opened up, ironically, like a drive-in restaurant, and at the time, I believe they even served hot dogs more than hamburgers, and it eventually boomed and became one of the biggest chains in the world. And even though sales they claim are dipping, they always seem to reinvent themselves in order to stay pertinent. Now, I don't know how long McDonald's will last. For me, it just seems like something that'll last forever,
Yeah.
but you never know. You never know. I don't know. It just always seems really popular still.
Yeah.
So those McDonald Lane characters eventually got fired. They just decided it's not good anymore. They don't show Ronald McDonald in commercials anymore because they just don't think it's right. A lot of people thought McDonald's kind of promotes obesity in children. I
Uh,
think anything would,
yeah.
but they tried to get rid of the whole cutesy thing. But honestly, I don't think it's Ronald McDonald that gets them to McDonald's. I
No.
think they like the commercials, but I think it's the damn fries. I think there's an addictive ingredient. I
But
once
they also
heard,
want the toys.
pardon?
Kids also want the toys.
Yeah, it is, but those French fries are addictive. And they tasted the same in the 70s than they do now. In fact, I have heard, and I learned this, I know this is a real piece of information because I learned it, I believe, on one of those sheets they put on your tray at McDonald's
Okay.
when they used to do that. And you'd get information, or you'd get like, have Donald make it Ronald make it to the field of hamburger patties or whatever is going on, which kind of creepy how they make hamburgers there. But yeah, and they once said that if you go anywhere in the world Their Big Mac might taste different. Their Quarter Pounder might taste different. They may have different things on their menu, but apparently the fries taste the same in all countries. They use the same recipe. And those shoestring fries are just amazing. I love getting them on the side. But as I said, I've been pretty good. Sometimes I just get the sandwich now and avoid the combo. But yeah, those fries are very good, and I think that's what kids. I guess the Happy Meal with the toy inside. Sometimes they're good toys, sometimes they're off. And I'll admit, even as an adult, that's what I forgot. I don't have water. That's okay. I'll make it through. Salivating, thinking of McDonald's,
I
apparently.
could drink my water to make you feel really thirsty.
There you go. But I totally forgot what I was saying. Oh yeah, no. Some of the toys are really kind of strange. But even as an adult, I've actually asked to just buy the toy, and they will do it for you.
Yeah.
Because I don't want a Happy Meal. They don't have fish fillets in Happy Meals. So anyhow, now McDonald's has had controversy through the years. You know, Ronald selling burgers like he's a drug lord trying to sell crack to kids in high school. People have tried to get him fired, probably tried to get him uh, strung up on those golden arches. Um, you know, throw a spear through him, hit him in the McRibs. What all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Um, I can't believe I'm doing a whole show talking about McDonald's. But other controversies they have had is they had a movie, a documentary it's called Super Size Me, which became I believe the guy who made it was Morgan Spurlock, I think his name was, and he was actually a very popular movie. Now, funny story about Super Size Me. Now, I remember seeing this in theaters. I went with this guy that I don't go to the movies with a lot, and he wanted to see it, and I said, sure, why not? And I thought, geez, I hope they don't show me anything too bad because I really like McDonald's. And, he was all about I can't wait till we see what we have. Now, for any of you who've never watched Super Size Me,
I've never.
and I think there's a sequel, but it's not about McDonald's.
Okay.
But it Super Size Me is Morgan Spurlock. I hope I'm saying that name right. If not, apologize. Yell at me in the comments. Basically, he decided he was going to live off only menu items of McDonald's for 1 month and to show the health problems and of it all. And he was eating everything. He tried to eat everything at least once, twice on the menu, but that's what he did. Breakfast, noon, and night, he was just eating McDonald's. And of course, he was gaining weight, and his doctor was telling him he had to stop. He was having heart murmurs because of the amount of meat he was eating and stuff. Now, I remember going to this, and as I said, they touch on everything. They talk a little bit about McNuggets. They talk about filet of fish. They talk about everything.
Yeah.
But anyhow, what I loved about this movie was that, and it was a good documentary. Don't get me wrong, but I was in this really full theater. And after it was done, I remember everybody, you could hear people talking because a good documentary gets people talking. And they're like, oh my God, I can't believe that. I even feel bad going a little bit and stuff. And so I'd hear these little conversations as we went out, right? And, my friend said he really liked it. He thought it was informative. And I said, no, I thought it was really well done. I swear I was probably the only person in that theater thinking, God, I could use a fillet of fish right now. Because the way I saw it, I was realistic. I said, well, first of all, I'm not going to eat McDonald's for a month solid.
No, that's ridiculous.
Even at the height of me eating McDonald's, it may have been 2 or 3 times a month.
Yeah.
I was already obese. So if I had, well, I hate using that word, but it's the word of the day because we're talking about McDonald's.
Like.
Eat it up, kids. Anyhow, sorry. So anyhow,
Yes.
I was hungry for fillet of fish, but I didn't have the nerve to ask my friend, could we stop at a drive-through while you go get your salad? I want golden fries and a fillet of fish with a nice supersized
Oh yeah.
McDonald's drink.
Yep.
And of course, I think all it really achieved was, yeah, some people probably quit going to McDonald's, but they lost supersize. We don't do that anymore. You
Yeah.
know, you just get your regular big, medium, and small. But I always love that story that I actually wanted, I
Yeah.
craved it after seeing it. And that's how messed up I am.
I never saw the movie, but I can totally imagine doing the same thing. Being like,
Yeah, no,
I could go
yeah.
to McDonald's. Those look good.
You know, I had a person once, I don't know why they did it, but I worked with them and they decided to just wring out the grease from a leg, like a leg from Kentucky Fried Chicken. And it was gross to see the amount of fat that comes out of it. And I still wanted a piece of chicken. Yeah, I'm not healthy.
Yeah.
I'm not right in the head. But the fact that I've cut down my McDonald's consumption, so the few people that are worried about my health there, I am trying my best.
You're doing great.
Um, yeah, so we're just going to talk about it tonight. Although you know Heather was eating it earlier, and I'll probably want it sometime soon because
Yeah.
we're talking about it. But so when I say we're going to talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, I don't want you to think that this is going to be me bashing, you know, like how bad it is. Yes, we know McDonald's is bad. All fast food is bad for you, but everything I believe in moderation is okay.
Mhm.
Like I honestly believe that.
Mhm.
Um, and yeah, and yeah, because like you know, obviously, if you're eating it multiple times a week, it's not going to be good for you.
Yeah.
But you know, I have it like you know once or twice a month now, and you know, mix it up with other stuff and try to eat healthier on other nights. So you know, I don't feel bad about you know having a little bit of a change and stuff.
Yeah.
So if people are here to for me scathing, you know what? There's lots of stuff out there that you can look into. When I talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, the good is the happiness I got by watching it, and when I was a kid going there, it was just
And you're doing
magical. You wanted to go. Yeah, and I wasn't a kid when we had those ball pits that I noticed they've gotten rid of, which is probably good.
well.
You know how they had the ball pits and they had the playground, and it's just annoying. We know kids are there. We know kids are there, but do we really need to see them like jumping around like idiots while we're trying to like get fat?
Hey, that was a good place to take my daughter when she was younger. It was
Did
inside.
she? Did you let her go off?
Oh
Did
yeah.
she ever have any incidences?
What?
Losing her shoes or something?
No, no. I think one of the first times she ever went in there, someone else had to help her get down from one of the climbing slide things because it was some wild, crazy maze of tubes and everything, and she couldn't figure out how to get down. So someone helped her. But
Oh,
other than that, no, that was good.
I would love to see the bacteria level in that.
Really tried not to think about that.
Yeah, you know, just get one of those lights and see the
No.
amount of feces. You deserve a break today. I'm loving it. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Anyhow, but when we talk about the bad and the ugly, what I want to talk about is we all know the stuff you can buy at McDonald's right now, and some I don't even care for. You know, you can still get Big Macs, you can still get quarter pounders with cheese, you can still get you know McNuggets, and you can still get chicken burgers and filet of fish, of course.
Of course.
Um, Egg McMuffins, although bresh, a lot of places breakfast is all day now. Um, as I get older, though, I think I'm sort of losing my taste for the Egg McMuffin. I used to love it. Now it's like, yeah, it was okay. I still like it, but I don't know. And because you really need to know that information about me.
It's important
Did
if
you
someone's
hear?
gonna buy
Did
you.
you hear? Devlin's losing his taste for the Egg McMuffin, but
If
he'll
someone's
still
gonna
eat it.
buy you some, they should know that that's not what you want.
I remember when I think you can still get the breakfast where they just have a little plop of scrambled eggs, and then you get some pancakes, and
Yeah.
that was always kind of cute. And damn it, I'm going to say it. This is going to be the most controversial thing, and this is probably bad and ugly for some of you, but I'm going to say it, and you're going to listen. I miss the styrofoam containers. I know it's bad.
Oh,
I
yeah.
know it's bad, but I used to love opening it up and putting my fries in that. You can do it with those cardboard ones, but I love the styrofoam containers. You know how much a fat kid I was? You know, this is how much I used to save. When we were kids, I used to save the containers and
Oh,
play McDonald's.
oh,
My
cool.
mother would wash my mother would wash them out,
Oh,
and
that's
then she'd get rid of them after a while. So, you know, because styrofoam you could wash and it wouldn't break down if you were gentle with it. And then I'd pretend like, oh, look, I got Big Macs and stuff. And yeah, that's bad. I didn't keep the French fry container
your
because there's too much
imagination
grease.
a lot. That's all.
Pardon?
Just like
Yeah,
your imagination.
yeah. So I personally miss the styrofoam containers. There, I said it. And what I'm sad about, and I'm kind of sad about, yes, I spent all my nights crying about that they got rid of.
Sorry.
Yeah, you go to some like a deli or something and you want leftovers, what do they give you? A styrofoam container.
They're allowed.
So at least McDonald's did something right. Do not get rid of the plastic straws.
Yes, I was just thinking that is they better keep those.
Yes. There's a couple places I need regular straws. If you want to go to plastic, that's fine. I'll just don't give me one and take the lid off and I'll just drink it. Because I'm sorry, I don't like those paper straws, especially when you're having a milkshake and you're like, oh, I never even talked about the milkshakes. I don't even get them that often. But McDonald's still makes, I'm going to say, one of the best. Because here in Canada, I still think Dairy Queen, their chocolate shake is superior. But I remember when you used to drink the McDonald's shake, it was so thick before it melted. It was almost like, you're like sucking and you're squeezing your sphincter because it was so hard. You were almost thinking, is this just ice cream?
Yeah,
You
pretty
know?
much.
So I'm trying to think of all the foods that used to make me happy. And you know what they could bring back? The damn animal crackers.
Oh
Um, yeah,
yeah.
remember those, and then they had apple pies, and then they had the little chocolate chip cookies, but they had these little animal crackers. That's all they were. And I don't even know if young people know what animal crackers are. Do they even sell them?
I think they must still sell them.
They're just like digestive biscuits,
Yeah,
kind of.
but they're shaped like animals.
Yeah. But the McDonald's one had little grimaces and Ronald, and you could look at your favorite character and eat them because that's what people like to do. Eat your favorite characters. So it was really kind of neat. Hey, Ronald. And they tasted good, and I like that. But now, well, we'll get to their newest phase, the McCafe, where they basically, got rid of anything fun
Yeah.
because they want to cater to a high class clientele.
I miss
Because,
I
pardon?
I miss the orange drink we always had at the schools from McDonald's. And I know it's just basically orange water, but I miss that. That was fun.
Orange drink was fun because nobody ordered it, I think, when they were in the store. They'd always have a pop or a milkshake.
Yep.
And then, but what would happen is if you asked McDonald's and said, I remember we actually had one of those, boy, I'm really dating myself back. We had a muscular dystrophy telethon in our neighborhood. And if you went to McDonald's, they would always give you big tanks of
Yeah.
that orange drink.
Yeah.
And nobody ever called it orange juice. Nobody called it orange pop because it was orange drink.
That's
And
all
you know what? On hot days, it was refreshing.
it was.
But nobody would go in and say, could I get an orange drink?
I'm sure if I
I think,
had some again, I'd be like, this stuff is horrible. What am I thinking? But the memory.
yeah, no, it was only for hot days. Like when you were really thirsty, you're like,
Oh yeah,
But it's such a memory. I'd like to taste some of it now.
yeah.
It's almost like probably mouthwash without the mint.
Probably. I guess it's kind of like orange Kool Aid, but it didn't quite taste like orange Kool Aid.
No, orange Kool-Aid was like fine wine compared to orange drink.
Yes.
But I love that there's people of a certain generation, if they're watching this, they're probably giggling and saying, "Oh
Yes.
my God, orange drink." I wonder if they still like send out orange drink.
Oh, I doubt it because it's probably not healthy enough. They probably have to send out water or something.
I don't know. After the pandemic, I'm gonna have to see that.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, they added stuff to their Happy Meal that's
Yeah.
more
Apple
like
slices and yogurt.
apple slices and yogurt to go with your McGrilled cheese sandwich.
Yep.
Heather's daughter, was it the grilled cheese that she didn't want the cheese, or what was?
No, no. She likes the Big Macs without meat on them. Yeah.
Yes, the
Yeah.
bun and condiment special. That
I've actually had some of it when she had some leftover. It's not bad. It's just kind of weird to not have the meat on it, but it doesn't add as much as you would think.
okay, because I'm a bigger guy, and when I was a bigger guy, a little guy, I honestly swear I used to do ketchup buns. If we had old hamburgers or hot dog buns left, I'd put ketchup and I'd just eat that.
Yeah.
But it's just weird ordering it and having somebody like paying
That's fair. That's fair.
paying money for a couple of buns and some cheese and whatever else you
But
get
it
on it.
tastes almost like you're having an actual Big Mac. So if you wanted to like be a vegetarian or something, I guess you could do that.
Yes.
So
So now McDonald's has been very successful, and what I've always liked about McDonald's is they always try new things. So this is probably the bad and ugly portion of it, but not all. These are some of their failed items that they tried and it didn't work. And we'll see if you actually tried any of them. I did try a few,
okay.
but some of these I wouldn't have even been interested in trying. So if there's anybody left watching out there,
They've
you
all
can
got McDonald's by
you
now.
can please comment if you liked some of these, because I'm certain there's some people that probably enjoyed some of these and then were like upset when they were taken off the menu.
Probably.
And I do know a little bit about these. So you mentioned that you actually like their Caesar salad. Nice promo for their healthy side. Well, they used to have something called salad shakers.
I remember those.
Yeah, they were in like a plastic cup, and you'd get salad, and then you'd put it on there, and then you could shake it, and it always looked so good in the commercials, but apparently it made it really soggy.
Well, I guess if you left the dressing on too long, it would.
Yeah. Did you enjoy those?
I think so. I don't remember like I know I had some of them from McDonald's, but I had them from a different place that was nearby more often because the Fast Eddie's used to.
Okay.
So they had them more recently. So I remember them better from Fast Eddie's, but I do remember I had a couple of them once at McDonald's. That was just ages ago. That's all. So
So another thing they came out with was the Arch Deluxe. This was pretty famous. This is also up there with the Angus burger that they tried. Every once in a while, they try to make
right,
a more adult hamburger.
yeah,
Because apparently Quarter Pounder and the Big Mac are not adult enough for them. So the Arch Deluxe is a very famous one because they tried to make it like this gourmet burger. But the weird thing is, even in their commercials, they had kids like being disgusted by it. Who makes commercials that are like, "Ooh, that's disgusting. That must be for adults."
yeah.
And it didn't work. And apparently, it was one of their really most expensive ones because they actually tried to use higher quality meat.
Okay.
Not trying to put you off on the meat you probably were eating earlier tonight, Heather.
No,
But yes. Now, speaking of them losing a lot of money, they also tried something that I actually don't remember here in Canada. So I don't know if it even made it here.
uh-huh.
They were called McDonald's Mighty Wings.
Oh no, I don't
Yeah,
remember.
they actually decided that they wanted to tackle chicken wings. Now, I was, see, one thing about McDonald's is they always try to evolve, which is a nice way of saying stealing from other people. Because they tried to do, fajitas and stuff like that and, get Mexican stuff in there. But they decided to take on Kentucky Fried Chicken and other chicken things.
Yeah.
And the Mighty Wings were actually, a lot of people said they actually tasted very much like um, Kentucky Fried Chicken.
Oh.
Now, the thing that was weird about this was that they were so confident this was going to work, they ordered a ridiculous amount of these wings to sit in fridges. Now, when they first released them, people were like, yeah, they're okay, but they're just kind of like an off version of KFC.
Right.
But the thing is that apparently they charged about roughly a buck a wing, which is actually quite expensive.
Yeah. It's,
So they decided they were taking a bath and people weren't ordering them. And apparently, what happened is they had to reduce them because they had so much chicken wings to get rid of and reduced it to about 60 cents a wing. But they had to get rid of them because they had all this freaking wings because they thought this was going to be the next big thing.
yeah.
They did try a McHot dog.
Okay.
That did not work. It shows up once in a blue moon, but for some reason, hot dog. See, now when I go to a Harvey's, I usually have a hot dog
Yeah.
um, or a chicken burger because, as I said, I will only eat hamburger if I. That's my only choice. Like if I go to a friend's barbecue, and I don't not hate hamburger. It's just I would prefer to have chicken or fish or
Mm-hmm.
so or a hot dog. So if I go to friends barbecue and they only have hamburgers, I'm okay with that. I can eat it. But if they say, "Do you want a hamburger or a hot dog?" as most people do, because if there's kids there, I
Yeah.
will always go for the hot dog. But hot dogs did not fly at McDonald's. This I did not try, but I remember when it came out, mixed spaghetti.
Oh no, I don't remember.
Yeah, they decided to make this spaghetti, and they think the reason this didn't sell, though, from what I hear, it was really, really big in the Philippines. You can still actually get it there.
Okay.
Some of these things, from what I've heard, are still around in certain places.
Okay.
Now, mixed spaghetti, they think the reason it didn't work was because most families, when they're on a budget, will have spaghetti a couple nights a week. So when you go to McDonald's to treat yourself, why the hell are you going to buy mixed
Yeah.
spaghetti just because it has Mick in it?
Yeah.
And from what I heard from people, they said that this pretty much tasted like any kind of spaghetti with
Makes sense. Yeah.
tomato sauce that you would get at any grocery store. So nothing special with that.
Yeah.
They the chicken McNuggets came out in the early 80s and they were really popular and they actually tried a couple of other versions. They had onion nuggets,
Oh.
which was them trying to make kind of a um, an onion rings, but
Yeah.
it was looked like a nugget, but it would taste onions. Now I don't remember this,
No.
but I do remember a couple people telling me that they actually thought they were really good and don't know why they didn't do better. They actually got a lot of people, but like the people who bought it seemed to enjoy it, but a lot of people just didn't want to. I think again, they want those damn fries.
Yeah.
They also tried fish McBites,
Oh.
a fish version of
Okay.
McNuggets. Now, I've already made a comment that most people don't like the idea of fish fillet.
Yeah.
Um, so these nuggets. Now, if I had these, I would have tried them.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would have liked them because what I like about the fish fillet, and yeah, I know I'm talking about the fish fillet a lot,
Sure, go for it.
is what I like is the combination. And I always joke that I think even the employees hate fish fillet because there's one McDonald's I go to that I swear they're just throwing it. Like they're not even taking their time putting the meat on. Because sometimes I'll get a fillet of fish where the cheese is off and the fish is off and then the dollop of tartar sauce. So anyhow, these fish McBites
Yeah.
didn't last long. You got to dip in tartar sauce, but
This
if people
sounds
weren't
good.
loving it, and I don't know what kind of. I know they use a cheaper brand of fish.
Probably.
It's probably like fish asses or something like the nuggets. Um, because there's something you don't hear too often, fish asses. Now, this one it makes me laugh because I don't remember this one at all. But I like how they put Mick in front of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, they actually tried Mick soup.
Oh, I don't remember that.
Apparently, they had two flavors. They had broccoli and cheese and a regular chicken noodle soup.
Okay.
Now, the funny thing about this was that it wasn't anything special. So people really didn't feel like, yeah, I'll have a Big Mac and a chicken noodle soup, please.
Yeah.
But what is funny about it is read something that employees said that they didn't even try to make this their own. It was basically Campbell's soup.
Oh.
So they charged people to heat up some Campbell's soup for you. So there was nothing special about this.
Yeah.
So yeah, pay a little extra and we'll crank on a can of Campbell's soup for you. Now this one I am a big fan of because no, I'm not a fan of eating it. It sounds horrible. But what I love about it is the story behind it. And it was the Hula Burger.
Oh.
Before the days where they were talking about doing more vegan meats and stuff like that, so vegans can eat at McDonald's. One of the main owners of the franchise decided to do a healthy alternative to a Big Mac, but instead of using meat, they would just fry up a pineapple. So you'd get
Could not
a
take.
pineapple ring. Okay.
Okay.
So the employees told him that that's ridiculous and it's not going to taste like hamburger. It's going to be pineapple with just your toppings from a burger. And one of his other employees actually suggested we should do a fish sandwich because there's a lot of people that don't want to eat meat, but there's a lot of people on Fridays that are very religious or their religion doesn't get them to eat and so they'll eat fish. But the guy who ran the thing said, well, I don't want the place smelling of fish, which from what I hear they don't even use enough fish to actually smell like fish.
Yeah.
That's another reason the fish McBites went, is
Okay.
because they don't like the smell of fish.
Okay.
So the story goes that they had a competition. It was Mc the Hula Burger versus Filet of Fish, and whoever won would stay on the menu. So for one day, they would put both on the menu,
Uh-huh.
and it was yeah, it was. I should look up the numbers because I don't know if I can get it or not.
That's funny.
But basically, they decided to have a healthy competition and try Filet of Fish versus the Hula Burger, which sounds absolutely dreadful. I'm sure most people would have gone for it.
Yeah.
And hold on, I know this is very unprofessional, me looking, but the numbers were pretty freaking funny because at the end of the day's sales,
Uh-huh.
it was something like 6 Hula Burgers sold to like a ridiculous number of Filet of Fish. So Filet of Fish won. Now, because he owned this, he decided to keep it on the menu, the Hula Burger on the menu, but eventually it died because nobody ate it. But yeah, the numbers were ridiculous. It was like 6 Hula Burgers because even the sound of it didn't sound good. But Filet of Fish did really well, and Filet of Fish has been around since then.
See, if it's
And
not
so that's why I like the Hula Burger, because if it wasn't as nasty as it was, we may be talking about the Hula Burger. And remember when they had Filet of Fish? But luckily, I better not jinx it because it's bad enough. Some places at McDonald's do not sell Filet of Fish. Now this was an epic fail. Now I don't know if you remember this one, Heather. The McDLT.
yes,
Okay, did you ever try it?
I might have, but certainly not more than one
Okay,
that I can recall.
So this was an epic fail because of just a lot of things. And this falls under first world problems.
Oh yes.
Um, because the McDLT was, they decided that some people didn't like that their vegetables got soggy when you put it on a hot burger with hot buns.
Yeah.
So they made this longer styrofoam container where the bottom part with the burger and cheese, no, just the burger, I think. And then the cheese and everything else was on the other one. And then you would actually lift the toppings and put them on, which was a real mess.
Stuff when you were ready to eat. Yes.
Right. And the reason why I don't think the cheese was on the other part is because people complained that the cheese didn't melt nicely on it because the cheese was still cold. So when they put that slice of cheese on it, because nobody's being fooled by that being, that's processed cheese,
Oh yeah.
that it didn't even melt nicely on the McDLT. I think there was cheese on it. Someone's telling me there was. So anyhow, you'd have people trying to lift like lettuce and stuff and trying to put it on the burger, or you're putting the burger on the other one where it has a chance of like rolling off the table. So anyhow, people were like, I don't want to make my own burger.
Yeah.
So the McDLT kind of failed, but there's a fun Jason Alexander from Seinfeld singing what the McDLT is because they were worried that people wouldn't understand it. Okay, just a couple more that I have to get in here. I did eat a couple of these. McLobster.
Oh.
Now, this shows up every once in a while, especially in places where they, catch lobster because it's a seasonal thing. Now, they also try to make crab meat, but that didn't really go well. But I was intrigued. And I remember going into McDonald's with Mike, and I was like, fish fillet, fish fillet. And then I saw McLobster and I fell for it.
Yeah.
I am a fan of lobster, although I feel it's so much work to get the little pieces. But so I thought, even if it tastes like the lobster legs that you can get, I thought it would still be good.
Okay.
I thought the first couple of bites were okay, but when you started getting into it, you were like, I don't know what this tastes like, but it doesn't really taste like lobster. And yeah, I remember it not sitting well with me. And I remember maybe Mike and I may have been running to the toilet back and forth after we had our McLobster. I'm trying to say that in a nice way.
Mhm.
Yeah, they may have wanted to call this McSquirts, but I don't know if. But there might be people eating it because maybe if you go to the East Coast, they still sell this once in a while. But I will probably never eat that again. It did not turn me off lobster because I don't know what kind of meat was in there, but it was not. Thing. So another one, I did not try this one. It was called the Mclean Deluxe. This was once again not the Hula Burger, but they tried to make a meat substitute that was going to be a healthy alternative, and there was going to be no fat.
Right.
That was the thing. This meat was going to have no fat. That's why it was called Mclean
Yeah.
Deluxe. But
I,
the problem is their meat supplement didn't really hold together.
oh, okay.
So they used something that's like a seaweed extract that actually changed what the Big Mac tasted like, or the McLean Deluxe, which was supposed to be a healthy version of the Big Mac. So when people ate this, it was like, this tastes horrible.
Yeah.
And I used I I've actually eaten seaweed in like I used to get this snack where it's like thin pieces of, it almost looks like a wafer, and you eat it and it's supposed to be a healthy snack. And
Yeah.
I actually really liked it.
Hmm.
And it was solid seaweed.
Okay.
But I don't know, I can't imagine the taste it would have had to really change up what meat tastes like. So but the thing is that one thing we should give them credit for is the salads and trying this meat, they were one of the first fast food restaurants, the big chains, that
Yeah.
actually tried to give people this. They
Mhm.
may have epically failed, but at least they tried.
Yes.
So, and the last real food one we're going to talk about, but we're going to talk about another thing that you did to make McDonald's more classy and elegant. But first, we need to talk about McPizza. This was an epic fail for them, and actually, from what I've heard, you used to be able to get it still in a couple places in the states that it actually was successful in. But I've heard that I think all the ovens are now gone.
Oh.
Now I Now they actually had to rechange their kitchens to get pizza ovens in. Just like with KFC and going after Taco Bell, they decided that, Pizza Hut, they had 40% of the burger market. And when sales slipped, they decided, okay, we need to try to get some of Pizza Hut's customers.
Mhm.
So they actually put pizza ovens in, and you could get McPizzas. You could get these personal pizzas, but you could also get big pizzas. Now, the problem with it was, and then I'll tell you my experience with McPizza, because I found them McDelightful. Um, but the problem was pizza isn't a fast food. And because they were trying to cook it fresh or as fresh as possible, that made it even more. It wasn't just like we take a slice out and put it in the microwave and stuff. They literally tried to cook these pizzas. So if a family came in and they wanted to order a big pizza, but some of the members wanted Big Macs or stuff, the Big Macs would be done and then they didn't have the pizza ready. So some of the people would be eating and some wouldn't. Now, I remember eating the McPizza and I tried it and I actually liked it a lot. There was a but it was a good weird taste on the crust that was very buttery. It had a buttery taste to it, which made McPizza a very their own thing. Like it didn't taste like, store bought pizza. It didn't taste like Pizza or Domino's or Pizza Hut. So it actually had its own taste. So I actually went through a little phase where I would get McPizza, and then I realized that again, I'm trying to be nice, but the next day it would basically slide out of me like going down a water slide at a water park.
Oh,
Um, yeah, like it would be very quickly, like 1 minute you're fine, and then next you hear the Scooby Doo lighthouse, and you're running to the toilet, and you're having to make shit to the point where I had to ask my friend, "Is this just me?" And he said, "No, I'm going to be getting Big Macs again." And I went back to fillet of fish. And when I heard McPizza was done, they said it was because, but the problem was they spent so much money on these pizza ovens. It was very expensive. But I heard there were still a couple of locations that you could still get the pizza, but I think since then the pizza ovens have been taken out.
yeah.
So again, McDonald's tried to capture something, they did, and yeah, so that's some of the food. That's the bad and the ugly part of it. And let us know if you tried any of these or if you miss any, because I'm sure there's some that absolutely do. You
Yeah.
know, they might not sound appealing to me. Like, I remember the first year, I believe, when they introduced Shamrock Shakes. Okay. And they still sell them, I
Oh
believe.
yeah, they're for sale right now.
Right. And yeah, because St. Patrick's Day is next week. We're gonna have a fun. I don't know what we're doing, but we fall on St. Patrick's Day, and we're gonna do
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
I've never done a St. Patrick's Day special, so it's gonna be an epic fail. But join us anyhow, because what a promotion! I may have to make commercials for that. Anyhow, I remember trying, and now I love chocolate, and it takes a lot for me to get out. Now I can have a vanilla shake,
Yeah.
I've tried strawberry. It's not for me. I know a lot of people like that, and that's great. I remember trying the Shamrock Shake, and I almost vomited. It was not for me. I don't think I could even finish it. And I am always shocked every year when I'm like, really? Shamrock Shake? Somebody's eating that. Do you have some?
Um, they didn't fool me this time, but they often do fool me because I like the taste of like mint ice cream and stuff.
Yeah.
And it always makes you think, oh, it'd be like a mint shake. That'd be fantastic. But it's not. It's not a peppermint type flavor. It's more of a spearmint or wintergreen mint or something. And it's
Yeah.
not minty. It's really
I'd
weird.
love to try that again, but I know it's going to be a
Oh,
mistake. It's
yeah.
kind of like me and Dr. Pepper. Every couple of years, I go, how come I never order a Dr. Pepper? Then I have one and I go, oh, this is why. So I think, yeah, I'm going to stay away from Shamrock Shakes. But please, if you are
Yeah.
a fan, please enjoy them. But I can't believe they're on the menu. But
I
anyhow, let me know
still
if you've
fool me
tried any
sometimes,
of
but
these.
not this year.
Pardon?
They still fool me
What?
sometimes, but not this year. This year I remembered that they are not good.
So let us know what you miss, if you had a bad experience or anything. Just give us a shout because I'm interested in that. Now, I want to talk a little bit a couple other things. Now, they always try to make McDonald's classy, which I think is the biggest mistake.
Yes.
I think when they have Ronald McDonald, like what's trashier than this? Like, I'm sure some redneck people are waking up to people that look like this. I think they should stay, trashy. Have Ronald walking around, in a trailer park or like back alleys, hawking hamburgers. The fry guys, strung out on the golden fries that they've been eating.
Quite that bad.
Yeah, no, okay, but so every once in a while they try to go classy. So one of my favorites that I love talking about is Mac Tonight. I don't know. Do you remember Mac Tonight?
Vaguely, yes.
Yeah, he came out around the late 80s, I think.
Yeah.
And what happened was sales for McDonald's were slipping after 4 o'clock.
Okay.
And they decided we need to come up with something after hours so people will still say, hey, I can still become obese at McDonald's after 4 o'clock. And so they came up with this moon guy
Right.
called Mac Tonight. Um, I think his voice was by a person named Roy Bear. I could be wrong. And the body with the guy in the helmet, this is kind of interesting, with the moon shape was played by Doug Jones, who is a very famous guy. And one of his most famous roles is he was the aqua guy in The Shape of Water.
Oh, I did not know
And
that.
he's very good at miming and stuff. And for like 3 years, he had the role of Mac Tonight.
Oh,
Now, if you look at his resume, he's done many movies. He's done like Hellboy. He's done lots of things.
okay.
So anyhow, he was the body of Mac Tonight, and Mac Tonight, was like they used the song Mac the Knife, which is a very like,
Yeah.
oh, the shark has
Yeah.
great big teeth, dear. But they changed the lyrics, but they did it in the Bobby Darin style. And I think eventually Bobby Darin's family actually sued them
I suppose.
because not only did they got the copyrights to the song, but they sang it in his style. Get some food, babe, after 4 p.m. Childhood obesity doesn't stop all night. Okay, whatever. I don't know the lyrics, but anyhow, they actually tried to make like this their role model, and there was a lot of commercials
I
to
vaguely.
promote that this
Yeah.
is a class joint.
Hmm.
So yeah, and that didn't work, but it did last longer than I thought. They said that it actually was created for California restaurants, and they liked it so much that they made it a thing. And apparently, he's shown up again
Oh,
now and again, and he's still seen overseas. So they really like Mac Tonight. Put that on your list of things to look up at YouTube. Maybe I'll put something up on Mondo Nostalgia Facebook tomorrow because you guys all need to see Mac tonight. Maybe they should have had Ronald and Mac tonight doing commercials together, saying, "Look, we're making your kids just as big. Why can't you do it after 4 o'clock?" So now, right now, they have kind of tried to make it trendy again. McDonald's land's long gone. Ronald is still the face of McDonald's, but you don't see commercials anymore. They don't talk about him a lot. A whole bunch of health people tried to get him to retire, but they said Ronald will always be a part of us. And we need to remind people that Ronald isn't all horrible. His name is attached to a children's hospital, Ronald McDonald House, that does some incredible stuff. And we need to remember that.
Yeah.
Even though he's not there performing stuff, he's just got his name on it. But it would be horrible if they changed it to like Mac Tonight Children's Hospital. You can get sick after 4 p.m. No, that's wrong. It's late. We don't do these podcasts late that often, so I apologize.
I think you're getting dehydrated.
Yes, because I haven't drank I need a Mc glass of water. That's what I need. But we're almost done. So anyhow, now it's funny. Ronald would show up on a couple things. Now he's still on a couple of the web pages, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He was in a couple of commercials till about 2015, 16. But then he disappeared for a while, and I found out the reason why he disappeared, and it's kind of creepy. I don't know if you remember this, Heather, but there was about a year and a bit where there were random clown attacks.
Is that when you went missing?
Where people were causing chaos dressed as clowns. And it was happening in US, it's places in Europe. Canada had a few. And these clowns would do bad things. And Ronald actually got sidetracked because clowns were having a bad name.
Oh, wow.
But recently they said Ronald is still always going to be a part of McDonald's and he isn't going anywhere, even though we're not going to show him. Yeah. So they kind of keep him locked up in the back, so he's like somewhere there, but they don't want to remember it. So now they've kind of tried to class it up by saying, well, we're not just a fast food trying to make your kids big. They got rid of most of the playgrounds. I think all of them are gone now.
Probably.
And now they've actually changed that. Like they used to always have that garish color. And now it's like McCafe. And it's like, we're classy. And you can come in and get a salad and a muffin. As well as getting those great foods that you really came for. Big Mac and that.
The fries. Yeah.
Yes. And like now you can get wraps and stuff, and they call it McCafe. And I've heard their coffee is actually pretty good. I've heard that again they use cheap tactics where they released like you can get dollar drinks, and I think a lot of people said, "Hey, that's cheap." And a lot of people found out they have. I'm not a coffee drinker, but I heard a lot of people tell me that they really love McCoffee. I don't know what they call it. McCafe.
I may be remembering, but someone told me that Tim Hortons coffee changed, and McDonald's actually tastes like the old Tim Hortons coffee that people liked.
Oh, so interesting.
Yeah, because my grandfather really likes the McDonald's coffee, and he used to like the Tim Hortons one. So apparently,
yeah, that's not surprising. That's actually cool. So you know what? I still go to it. I kind of wish it was garish and had Ronald McDonald's face all over things, I think you still see them when you get like the plastic bibs you can put on and stuff like that for the kids. But I don't care if it's McCafe. I just hope it sticks around. Because there are nicer, healthier places. And by all means, I'm not trying to say go eat there every night of the week. I'm not trying to supersize you. I'm just saying for me, it'll always be a place. And what I love too about it is I know some people who are real health nuts and they're trying to get their kids healthy and stuff, but they still have to take them to get the French fries because they're addictive, I tell you, and they get them at a young age. And, even those health conscious says, "Oh, damn, go to the drive-through and get some French fries." You know, we'll try to get them to eat their sushi. Maybe they'll have mixed sushi at some point and stuff like that. So, but anyhow, that is our look at McDonald's, and I had a lot of fun. I'm not craving it as much as I thought, but maybe when I rewatch this, I get no money from McDonald's, so don't think that I've got endorsements. But if they want to send me something, I'm shameful. I will do it.
Sure.
Yeah, I'll wear one of those paper hats they used to wear too, like if they want me to. Yes, probably won't get that on Count Devula, but you will get that on me if I get money from it. Yeah, I will. I'm shameless. Anyhow, Corda, have any final thoughts on McDonald's? Are you running to the toilet since you had it earlier?
No, no, I'm good. Actually, I'm good.
Yeah, don't have to make a McRun for it. Oh my God, I got the McRuns. Anyhow, I love just putting Mick at the front of anything.
It always makes me wonder why they called them like McWraps. It's like McWraps, really? That's what you went with?
Craps. Oh yeah, I never thought of that.
Yeah,
The craps.
I think they try really hard to just call them snack wraps, but they are McWraps, and it's like
Well, it's McDonald's. You gotta have Mick in the front of it. It's just. Could I get some McNapkins? I bet you they get shit like that all the time, and they're just like, "Ugh, I don't make enough. I don't make enough."
yeah, that's true.
Anyhow, I hope you head off to McDonald's because you deserve a break today, and I know you secretly are loving it. And I can't think of any more promotions. But yeah, thank you, Carta. We'll be back next week. We will have guests soon. It won't just be this all the time. Anyhow, have a great night, and we'll see you next week.